This is a Roco model which we have today. It's number 04160A, and on the front of the box you can see it's a Series 5/600 and the symbol there representing the Dutch railways. If you're a British model railway enthusiast, then undoubtedly you'll probably own a Class 08 Diesel Shunter. This is based on that, well, actually a Class 11 I believe, and they were made by English Electric. It was supplied to the Dutch railways after the Second World War, and they gained the affectionate nickname of Hippel, which I believe translates to something like hopper or jumper, something like that. This model is in HO scale, as you can see here on the box, and it is a second-hand model, obviously. So let's get it open and I'll tell you a bit more about it. Well, just trying to get it out the box there, I actually managed to pull off a set of the step ladders. They're just push fit, so I should be able to easily fit those back in. This here is one of the Roco collector pins. I believe if you had a number of these, you could actually cash them in for some goodies. So it's quite cool that this is still in the box. We also seem to have this, which looks like maybe some lighting or something to go on the front of this locomotive. It's in a sealed bag. And we also have another bag here, which I think is actually the lighting units for the front as well, maybe even the back too. So you saw there, it was quite an easy fix to get those step ladders back on. They just push fit underneath the cab there. But we do have another problem with this locomotive in that it's missing the ladders down this side. We've got them on this side, and I kind of knew that was the case, and I've already contacted Roco to see if you can get these as spare parts, but apparently not. They're no longer available, so that's a bit annoying, but I do kind of have a solution. Well, I hope I do anyway. I'll come to that in a minute. But for now, let's have a little closer look at this locomotive. So it's a cute little thing, this one, in HO scale. This one I believe was produced around about 1985. It's from the early first batch that Roco produced of these, and I believe that they've been producing them ever since, refining them as they go, adding things like digital control and things like that. So obviously a very popular locomotive and very handy for shunting duties. So at the front here I think we have some holes where the lighting should go, and we also saw that piece of plastic which I guess goes inside here. I'll need to open this up in a minute and have a look and see what's going on. We have a screw on the top here, so it should be quite easy to separate the body from the chassis. Up on the top it's painted in this grey colour, and we have some really nice rivet detail on the top here as well with these hatches. It is kind of spoiled a little bit by the screw on the top, but it is a compromise if you want to get into these models quite easily, so I'm not too bothered about it. There's some nice rivet detail also on top of the cab here too. And looking down the side, you'll see that we have these black bits here which are extra handrails added on in black plastic, and there's a lot of nice hatch detail with the brackets as well. This one is finished in the Dutch Railways green with yellow stripe, and I don't think the masking on that is actually really good, and it does actually look as though the stripe is a little bit bent down here, maybe just an optical illusion, but it looks like that to me. But we've got different colours on the grills which make them look really good. I have to say the definition on the moulding is actually pretty good as well. I like all these hatches here on the side. And then as we look at the cab, we've got the window half down, and we almost have flush fit glazing as well. Inside the cab though, we do see part of the electrical gear, so I'm guessing that's probably just part of the motor there. So there's no interior cab detail. But outside the cab, it's got some nice rivet detail and handrails. It's not the most defined at all and around the door here, but it's not too bad really. I do like the number on this one, on that little plate, and we've got some more printing down here in the white, which is very small. As we move around the back, we've got some more holes again, possibly for pieces that are in the extra bag. And we've got some lighting down here as well. I think the parts actually go over the top of these. Again, the stripe, I think it's just a little bit wonky as well, and it's not a completely solid yellow colour, but I suppose we can forgive this little loco because it is around about 40 years old now. Down at the buffer beam, it's painted in red, masked off a bit fuzzy at the top there, and we have these buffers added in, which I think are actually separate. Yeah, they unscrew, so they're made of metal, which is great, so they'll take a few bashes. And we have the coupling hanging out the back here too. No real differences down this side of the locomotive. And as we look at the black chassis area, I think that's a separate part. That does have a lot of rivet detail, springs as well, and all the brake gear down the bottom here as well. And it has these metal connecting rods here, which are sticking out quite a lot from the side of the wheels, but it will look really good going down the track, and I'll give it a go in a minute. So underneath you can see Roco made in Austria, and a couple more screws to take this apart and some indication of where you should oil this model. No NEM pockets on these, but the couplings do have some nice articulation there, and you can see a couple more screws holding this model together. So we did notice that the steps at the back here do fall off quite easily because they're just push fit. But that's maybe a good thing because then it can take a few bashes and just fall off, and then you can put them back on rather than just breaking them completely. So a nice little Loco, but I'm going to open this up and we'll check out what's happening with the lighting. So looking inside, we do indeed have some lighting. This is the arrangement at the back here, looking as though it's transmitting the light up above the window and also to the two backlights here, but it is missing at the front, so I'm guessing that's what's in the other bag there. And here is the chassis. It's got quite a heavy weight there. The motor in the middle seems to have a lot of gunk at the gears here, and we have lights both ends as well. Quite a simple arrangement, but I'm hoping it should run pretty well. So out of this bag of little pieces, it looks like these ones just slot over the large lights. They've got little studs on them just to locate them into the chassis, into the body at this point down here. At the back here, I'm not sure whether these have actually broken off in the past. I'm not sure whether they're meant to be sticking out like they are at the front, but these do actually just fit on over them anyway. So I'll just put those in here. Now I'm thinking maybe they did actually fall off. So just a little bit of glue will help that just stay in place. I've just set the body aside to let the glue dry for a moment, but I'm going to give the chassis a go on this old scrap track that I've got here. It's just some Hornby track, and I'm using my H&M controller on 12 volts DC to give it some power. So I haven't run this since I bought it, so let's give it some power and we'll see what happens. Well, not bad at all. And for a 40-year-old locomotive, that's pretty good. It crawls along at a nice slow speed there, and I think it could probably just benefit with a little bit of a clean up and some oil, but it does seem to run great. And also, the lights also work in both directions, and they're actually directional too. So it's really great that even though it's quite an old model, it still has all these quite cool features. So everything mechanical seems fine on this little model, but we do have this problem of the ladder missing on the other side at the front here. But I did manage to get these. These are actually spare parts for the Hornby Class 08. They are metal ladders, and I wondered whether I could actually get these to fit. Well, you can see that there's quite a bit of size difference between the two. The one on the right is the Hornby one, which is made of metal, double O scale obviously, and the one on the left is the original HO scale one. But I think I can maybe get these to work just with a bit of cutting of the metal and reshaping, so let's give it a try and see what happens. Okay, so it's not exactly the same as the one that came off, but it does actually fit, just with a bit of persuasion and a little bit of snipping of the metal here and there. But I have managed to get it to fit in there, and I think that looks okay. Perfectly acceptable, I think. But now I just need to do the other side as well. Well, after quite a lot of fiddling about with this, I managed to get both of them on, but I'm not actually convinced it does look good after all. There's something just not quite right, and I think it's probably the top pieces which just don't quite fit right into that little one single hole at the top. So I might actually see if I can get a 3D printed version of this original one, see if that will work a bit better. But for now, certainly it allows me to get this back together, and we can put it onto the track just to give you an idea of the overall effect of this locomotive. It's a little bit crude by today's standards, as you would expect, but it does actually work pretty well. But I'm interested to see how much this weighs, so let's put it on the scales. So this model comes in at 205 grams. So Roco's little shunter from the 80s, I think this is a Series 500 rather than a 600, and it's quite a cute looking thing. It's obviously very similar to British diesel shunters of this era, and so this model probably could be compared with something like from Hornby or Bachmann in terms of finesse, but you have to take into account the year when this was made. For me, I think there's a lot on offer here. It's a very cute looking locomotive, and it's got those connecting rods that go round, which makes it quite interesting to watch when it's moving. But there's clearly some, let's say, period pieces which you maybe need to consider if you're thinking about buying one of these. The lighting, for example, isn't that good. It doesn't really shine at all until you give it a lot of power. It could well do with an upgrade to LEDs, that's for sure. But the mechanics are not too bad at all. The motor seems big enough and it seems to crawl along at a nice speed, so the gearing's pretty good. It does have that screw on the roof which kind of lets it down a little bit, but then it does offer easy access into the motor and the mechanicals of this model. The ladders on the front, obviously I've changed them for the Hornby ones. You can't get the original ladders anymore from Roco, which is a shame, but I will maybe try and find someone that can 3D print these. But should you consider buying one of these? Well, I think it would be a great little addition if you have a Dutch railway, or you could probably get away with running it into somewhere like a French or maybe even a German layout, but don't quote me on that. It's certainly a fun little shunter, it's very useful, and as a second-hand model, well, you'd be probably wondering how much I paid for this. I actually got it quite cheap because it had those pieces which supposedly made it broken, but I think I've managed to repair it okay. And so it came in at £25, which I think was a great bargain. It's a nice little runner of a Loco, and considering its age, it looks decent enough, even if the paint job isn't absolutely that brilliant. But for now, that's it for this review. I'll put it on the turntable so you can see all the way around. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and I'll see you on the next one.
So model train, model words, choo choo, model train, tiny train.